Hello, anybody who's here. We will begin cooking soon. I feel like I need to sort of have a pre-stream before the stream just because the cooking is over so fast. I gotta give people time to show up and get excited. Hiya, Trouser Demon. Nice to see somebody stopping in. Obviously this is not Company Heroes, this is Sri Lankan food, or Sri Lankan food. I don't know how to say Sri Lanka. People have a tendency when they're pronouncing foreign words to sort of overemphasize the foreignness. So like, they say Beijing instead of Beijing, even though I guess Beijing is pretty close to how you pronounce it in Chinese. So maybe that's why people say Sri Lanka rather than Sri Lanka. Maybe Sri Lanka is pretty close to correct, and Sri Lanka is just weird and foreign sounding. Who's excited for noodles? I'm excited for noodles. Looks like I'm streaming at about 30 frames per second, which is good. I was worried the internet would be a little worse because we're in the middle of the day and more people are doing stuff, but my Wi-Fi is holding up. How many people are here? My viewer count is not updating. Can I press this button? That does nothing. It shakes my tablet. We'll start in about, let's give it 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes from now. At 3:05 Pacific Daylight Savings Time. More or less. I'm pretty hungry though, so I'm not going to put it off too long. There's got to be some way for me to see my viewer list, see who's here. What does this button do? That doesn't do anything. Boy, says EP2. Don't know what that means in this context, but welcome. Wait, what? Where is COH2? Yeah, right now it's cooking. I'm cooking lunch. EP Gaming 55. Hello. I did a cooking stream last night, and that was fun. So I figure, I don't know, sometimes when I'm cooking food, why not stream it? I think I just lost half my viewers when they realized that, but look, it says in the Twitch title, IRL, right? Right, I'm not false advertising, I think. Or T-minus 1 minute to commencing cooking. Yeah, why not? Exactly, EP Gaming. 55. Don't want to leave off the number. In preparation for cooking. Actually, you know what? Let's start introducing the ingredients. Put these on YouTube too. I've thought about it. I don't know. I don't know if my subscribers would want that stuff on YouTube. It's easy to just ignore on Twitch, but on YouTube it's there forever, and it shows up in their subscription feed. So, we're going to be cooking fried noodles, stir-fried noodles. We have, to start off, we're going to have ginger, garlic, green onions, and some ground black pepper, some ground coriander, and some ground chili powder. So this is going to go in the oil first, cook a little bit. Next is going to be our vegetables. In before he's an actual pigeon. I'm not a pigeon. Next is the vegetables. We've got tomato, carrot, cabbage, some turmeric. There's some curry leaves in here. These are dried curry leaves. Fresh would be good, but dried are very easy to keep on hand. And then some tomato paste for some extra tomato-y. Tycho, somebody linked a YouTube thing. Lemouse Carmike linked a YouTube thing I don't know what that is. After that, we're going to add our noodles. So I've prepared some noodles, just chopped them up a bit so they're ready to stir fry. Put a little bit of oil on them so they wouldn't stick together too much, but they're probably sticking together. Let's see. Oh no, that's not so bad. They're good to go. Those are noodles, and then after the noodles, we'll add our last flavorings, which is some lemon juice. They're on the right, and then some soy sauce, and salt and sugar on the left. And then we have some salt in the background. And those are the spices in the background. Did I mention the turmeric in with the vegetables? There's some turmeric in with the vegetables. Why is it so complex? Just throw 5-minute noodles into boiling water. Hope you washed your hand. Yeah, well, my hands are spotless, Demon. I'm a fucking angel. I'm a spotless baby angel. All right, let's go. Let's turn on the heat. Can you see that? No, you can't actually see me turning on the heat, but I've just turned on the heat under the pan. It's going to take a moment, and we'll add some oil. Yeah, 5-minute noodles in boiling water. Fuck that shit. We're making real food. Real food for real human beings. This is much cheaper than eating 5-minute noodles or whatever, and much healthier, and much more fun. And it impresses people. Nobody's going to want to date you if you just eat 5-minute noodles, but if you can cook, that'll impress people. Did I wash my hands? I think I washed my hands. Let's wash them again. I'm the only one eating these, so it doesn't matter how dirty they are. I'm impressed, says EP Gaming. Exactly, see? It makes it super fuckable. So, we're waiting for our oil to warm up. Since we're going to be stir frying, we want it relatively hot. It's not like we're cooking things low and slow. You want it hot enough to get your stuff where it's just about to start browning when you add the next ingredient. So like when we add these, we'll cook them for a little while till they're fragrant. When they're about to start browning, we'll add this and so on. And so you want the oil hot enough that the timing works out. That they don't get brown immediately, or they don't never get about to brown. If that makes sense. And often that's about when the oil starts to shimmer. So it's tough to see generally. It's especially tough on a webcam. But the oil is not shimmering yet. This is very scintillating. Last night people were like, you should have heated up the stove first. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And once again, I'm realizing I should have heated up the stove first. But that's okay. Look, you can see the oil's sort of shimmering, right? If you look at, I don't want to get my finger in the oil, but it looks like this. You can sort of see this line is starting to shimmer. So that means our oil's about where we want it. If your oil starts smoking, you've gone way too far. You are one step away from a grease fire, which is bad news bears. Alright, so here we go. First step, aromatics. So immediately, it should smell delicious because these are the aromatics. You want to make sure everything's blooming in the oil, especially those spices. You'll notice the peppers maybe not 100% integrated. So we'll use our spoon. Get it in the oil. Notice the oil is taking on the color of our chili powder, so that's good. We're going to get a nice orange-red oil, a sort of rich oil. And we're just looking for these to get aromatic and start to soften. Waft the smell towards you. It's so good. So good already. So what we don't want is too much browning. We're going to, before it starts browning, add step 2, which is this stuff. Sometimes you can tell it's softening because the onion will change color a little bit. It's much easier to tell for actual onions, not green onions, but it looks a bit on green onions. They sort of turn translucent. All right, we're ready for step, you can also do it by smell. We're ready for step 2. The vegetables and some turmeric and some curry leaves. Mix it all together very well. As they would say on Binging with Babish, who makes good videos but who does not know how to cook, let the flavors get to know each other. And we're going to cook this a bit longer, a few minutes, because we're going to want the vegetables to get relatively close to where we want them. Because step after this is adding the noodles. And we don't want to cook the noodles too long, just enough for them to take on some color, which means the vegetables are not going to get much chance to cook after this. And this smells really good. Doesn't look like COH2, what do I even know? Yeah, this is not quite Company Heroes 2. This is the sequel, Age of Empires 4. Or 5. What is Relic making? Is Relic making Age of Empires 4 or 5? Did they ever make a 4? I can't remember. Man, what do you think that's going to be like the next Age of Empires? I'm not holding out hope one way or the other. I'm not getting excited, and I'm also not getting too pessimistic. It might be kind of cool. I don't know. I'm excited to see what Relic's got in mind. I might be slightly more excited about Iron Harvest, that COH-looking game in sort of an alternate history World War I, but I don't know. I'm not getting too pumped about that. I have kind of actually low hopes for that. It might turn out amazing, but I don't know. Cover it with a pot. You've got some fairly large chunks of veggies. Need to soften them up first. No, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. We don't want to steam. We want to stir fry. So everything in here is relatively quick cooking. The carrots are the things that'll take the longest to cook, but we do want some crunch in the carrots. We don't want soft, mushy carrots. We just want our carrots a little cooked, not a lot cooked. And obviously they'll take longer to cook than the cabbage or the tomatoes. So when the cabbage and tomatoes are done, the carrots will be far from fully cooked, but that's fine. Again, we don't want mushy carrots. We want crunchy carrots. The carrots are the crunch. And the cabbage is a bit of crunch too, but you cook down the cabbage a little bit. Covering with a pot sounds like a pretty good idea. Fuck you guys, you don't know what you're doing. If you cover it with a lid, it's going to steam all these vegetables. They're going to get mushier. We're not going to get this nice, you see this nice fond forming on the bottom? This nice brown stuff that we're scraping up as we stir fry. And we're also trying to get some of the liquid out of here. We have some tomatoes in here, and we want some of the liquid in the tomatoes to evaporate. So our end result is not mushy or watery. And the same actually goes for the cabbage. Cabbage has a lot of water in it, so we want some of the water evaporating out of these vegetables. So our end result is sort of concentrated and, I don't know, what's the word? Intense? Cooked down, really? You don't get that if you cover it with a pot. So we're getting pretty close to done on these vegetables. The cabbage is certainly starting to soften. The tomatoes are starting to break down a little bit. Let me test the integrity of a carrot. I just microwave ready meals. See, those are expensive too, and those are not healthy. Yeah, so carrot's still pretty crunchy, which is good. But it's starting to soften a little bit. My mother doesn't even do that. My parents just eat out every day. Yeah, I don't have that kind of money. And even if I did, I don't think I'd want to do it. I enjoy cooking. Cooking is fun and healthy, and restaurants give me the creeps. What are people doing to your food? You don't know. Why are these people being all subservient to you? Because you're the customer. But it's still weird. It's still weird. People shouldn't be subservient to each other. People should just hang out as equals. We should all be equal. And restaurants are the opposite. Restaurants are where you go to be served. It's like you have your own servants for the duration of the meal. And I don't like that. I don't dig that, man. I'm egalitarian. Oh, how'd you learn to cook, says Trouser Demon? I don't know, I just, so my mom basically over my lifetime taught herself to cook. She went from not knowing how to cook, because my grandma doesn't have a fucking clue, to knowing how to cook, because she's just like, I guess I should learn how to cook. And my mom's a genius, so she basically just taught herself. So I grew up having a mom who knew how to cook, and I would sometimes cook just on my own because I wanted food. And then once I moved out and lived on my own, I'm like, I'll just cook all my food, because why not? It's cheaper, it's healthier. Again, I don't like restaurants, I've just told you that. So if you don't like restaurants, your options are buy ready-made food or cook your own food. And ready-made food is expensive and not as healthy. Cooking your own food, cheap and healthy. Alright, so I'm thinking it's about time to add our noodles. So we're going to add the noodles and just stir fry them a little bit. It's going to take a while, sorry, to get this all out of the colander. Gotta get every last noodle, every last bit of goodness. Alright, cool. So we'll stir fry this a little bit. We're going to let our noodles obviously meld with the vegetables and then also take on a little bit of color themselves from being stir-fried. I'm doing this just with normal wheat noodles, like normal. Here, I'll actually get the package for you in a sec once I've stirred this all together. So you can do this with normal, just semolina noodles, the classic Italian pasta sort of stuff. I use Trader Joe's pasta because it's about as cheap as things get. You can also do it with normal, like wheat, like whole wheat noodles or flour noodles, or you can do it with rice noodles, any kind of noodle. Whatever your favorite noodle. Your noodle, your meal. I don't use a lot of rice noodles because I can't find them cheap anywhere. I don't understand. Even at the Chinese grocery store, rice noodles are more expensive usually. Alright, so now that we're starting to get a lot of stuff sticking a little bit to the bottom of the pot, it's time to alleviate that with our liquids. We have lemon juice, about 2 tablespoons, and then 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, along with a bit of sugar and salt. This is mostly to taste. And then obviously we stir this all up, being sure to get the goodness at the bottom of the pan. Nice appetizer you're cooking. What's the main dish? This is the main dish. Cooking for one. But yeah, this makes a really good appetizer if you're serving lots of people. You can serve it with like a curry, with a fried rice dish, with a bunch of vegetable dishes. Tonight I might make some curried cabbage with my leftover cabbage, the last of the cabbage that I've got. That's a good accompaniment. It's made with coconut milk and red onions. But yeah, this is a fine noodle dish for lunch or dinner or something if you're just on your own. I googled recipes and there's 50,000 things that you need. The trick is just have a spice cabinet. You know what? Maybe I can show you guys. Let me clean this up a little bit. It looks ugly right now. You just need a spice cabinet, and after a few years of accumulating this stuff, you're just good to go. And you don't need 50,000 things. You need like 7 things. And you can use them in all sorts of dishes, not just this, obviously. Okay, good. We're done. or plate. I don't know what this looks like on the stream because I'm not watching very closely. I can't see the camera. Cool. This is your stir-fried noodle dish. Way better than you might expect. So let's taste it for the salt. See if we need more salt. It's gonna be hot. And we don't need more salt. We're good. All right, it's delicious. Thanks for joining me, everybody. And I don't know, that's it. I'm gonna go eat this before it gets cold. Bye. Thanks for tuning in. Where's the stop broadcasting button? Here it is. Hello, the running dead. Goodbye, the running dead. End broadcast.